Folks, some advice. Story 1. That woman you fell in love with and would sacrifice yourself for may not feel the same way about you. Do not abandon yourself just to keep someone else in your life, whether it be your partner, parents, siblings, relatives, or friends. The right people will never force you to suppress who you are just to keep them happy. In fact, forget those people. Seriously, selfish and self-centered individuals are not worth it. Period. Story 2. True friends tell you harsh truths and may upset you now and then. Beware of people who always agree with you or give you unconditional support without challenging you. Story 3. Everything has an ending. Learn to be detached from outcomes and enjoy the time you have in life as best as you can. Story 4. Do not go around calling anyone a friend just because you talked a couple of times. When times get rough, that's when you know who's really there for you. Have higher standards for who you call a friend. Story 5. You will go through times when you are completely alone for long periods. You will have no one to talk to. You will be harassed and bullied and have no one to confide in about it. It will all just swirl in your head. And learning how to manage this will be an essential life skill. Story 6. No one is genuinely looking to offer you a great deal on an investment. People who say they know where the market is headed are lying. Story 7. Do not evade discomfort. Embrace it. Find a subject in school or a skill related to your work difficult and intimidating but relevant and useful. Learn it. Others won't, which will set you apart. The same goes for physical discomfort like getting in shape. Story 8. Never co-sign anything for anyone. Never loan friends or family money for any reason unless you want to find out how much it costs to never see or hear from them again. Never loan anyone your car, motorcycle, or tools. Remember that marriage is a contract. Protect yourself, even if it causes a bit of strife beforehand due to uncomfortable conversations about money, possessions, and expectations for you both. Story 9. Nothing in life is guaranteed, and nobody is obliged to help you. You are alone. The sooner you accept that reality, the better. My father never taught me anything about tools, cars, or handyman repairs. Absolutely nothing. When I eventually left home, I had to educate myself on how to manage bills, fix a car, change oil, and use tools from scratch. Nobody taught me anything. The only reason I get through every day is because at a young age, I accepted that nobody will help me, and those who may help could stop for any reason at any time. Becoming versatile and self-reliant is an important trait, and finding happiness within the grim reality makes you all the stronger. Oh, and stop trying to figure out what a woman wants. Even women don't know what they want. Focus on yourself, your physical, mental, spiritual, and financial well-being, and someone will come into your life when you least expect it. Story 10. Make the best decisions you can with the information you have. Procrastinating or not deciding are decisions themselves. It's okay that you don't have perfect knowledge. Consider both sides and decide. There's no real timeline for life. Don't feel pressured to get married, have kids, go to college, or move away just because you think now's the time. Story 11. Stay in shape always. I don't care if you're a father, single, or unemployed. There is no better foundation you can give yourself than being healthy. It gives you confidence, a reason to love yourself, helps you avoid chronic pain, makes you more attractive, which makes life easier socially, and helps you manage stress. It's a net positive in every way. Story 12. Don't ruminate. Whatever is bothering you, whatever you're trying to get done, whatever you want, whatever's disturbing your peace, do something about it. Get into the habit of leaning into action, being proactive. Don't give yourself downtime for doubts to fester, eating yourself alive trying to make sense of maybes and possibilities. The only real options you have in life are the things in front of you. So you must make choices in the here and now. Story 13. You don't need that one more thing to be attractive to women. You don't need a better place, a better body, better clothes, or a better car. You just need to be comfortable in your own skin. That's what eventually works. Story 14. Never co-sign on anything. If she's abusive, leave. If you find yourself saying, "No, she's not. She's just," that means you need to get out immediately. Inanimate objects cannot lose a fight. Never fight them. Start saving as much for retirement as early as you can. Use a Roth individual retirement account if nothing else, and invest in something like index funds or bonds if you're risk-averse. Research your chosen career path, locations, salary, and other details before committing to education and loans. Learn to budget. Never borrow money for a non-essential item. Live every day trying to be the best version of yourself possible. Just getting by can spiral quickly. You become the people you surround yourself with. Choose wisely. Be direct. Whatever you're doing, avoiding the issue won't make it any better. Story 15. Feeding biscuit is slang in my language describing how a company tries to entice employees with its corporate dreams. Claiming you are part of the family, they suggest that as an employee, you will become successful by following the company's lead and that all your overworking, underpaid, and burnout experiences will eventually pay off. I still see many young undergraduates fall into this trap. The solution is to keep reminding yourself that you show up for the salary, so you will have money to achieve your dreams. Those false corporate dreams are meant to brainwash you so you will ignore labor oppressions in the workplace. They aren't real and they are not your dreams. If a company truly cares about its employees, it should never underpay you and will never delay your paycheck. Like school bullying, if you keep silent about it, it will keep coming back to you. Story 16. If they leave, don't try to get them back into your life. Move on, and they'll come back if you mean anything to them. Story 17. If you do not take care of yourself and do not give yourself the rest and recovery you need to unwind from hard work or high stress, then eventually a few months of running on empty and pushing hard can cause burnout, which can take years to recover from. Story 18. Just work on yourself. Seriously, your comparisons should be with yourself. Everyone is living a different life which you know nothing about. Don't compare yours with theirs. Try to do your best. Comparison with others will only make you feel inferior and unsatisfied. Story 19. Just because you did something for someone doesn't mean they will do something for you. Nobody owes you anything. Don't wait around for that call, job interview, or date. Ask for it yourself or move on. Story 20. Work doesn't reward your performance, but your perceived value. A combination of your perceived performance, likability, scarcity, and how aware you are of other opportunities. Story 21. Actions over words, no matter what. I don't care if she's clinging to you, crying in your arms, promising you everything you want. It's all nothing but an act and words if her actions say otherwise. Story 22. That girl is only using you. She's not your friend and she will never be interested in you romantically. Just stop putting up with her requests and demands and move on. Story 23. Posture matters. You will address it when you're old, either from habits developed when you were young or due to injuries from bad posture during your youth. There are exceptions, but you don't often see many older people sitting in chairs with their legs hanging over the armrest. Story 24. Choose your life partner very carefully. Yes, there are ups and downs, but it always ends up with hugs and kisses. Story 25. When you're sad, lonely, angry, sick, falsely accused, broken, humiliated, or ostracized, nobody, and I mean nobody, other than maybe your mom, truly cares. It's important to understand this as early as you can and focus on self-reliance because that's the only place support comes from. Story 26. Make sure you communicate with your spouse and support them. If not, someone else will be rewarded with your investments. Story 27. Don't pay too much attention to what others think of you. You cannot be free if all you care about are the opinions of others. Story 28. There is always someone more attractive, better, bigger, or more interesting than you in some way. Whether it's an ex of theirs, someone they chose instead, or someone they date after you, this remains true. Even outside of relationships, this fact still stands. You first have to accept this fact and understand where you stand. Then, from a place of growth and self-care, work towards achieving and obtaining the things you want, whether it's a better body or something else. You can't outrun others, and you can't outrun yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. Be better than you were yesterday, and that's all you can do. Story 29. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The family you create and form bonds with is stronger than the family you were born into. Your family doesn't always have your interests at heart and often has its own agenda to control you. Story 30. I think the most important thing to keep in mind, especially in this context, is that every person and situation is different. Take all advice with a grain of critical thinking and evaluate how applicable it is to your own situation. For example, there are variations of the idea that you can't trust or rely on anyone but yourself. And while that may be true for some, if you have people in your life whom you can trust, then accepting help could also be a valid lesson. The point is, you have to decide for yourself. Story 31. This thread is a godsend. I appreciate all the advice for the difficult time I'm currently going through with my partner. Story 32. Learning how to communicate effectively and calmly will remove a lot of the frustration and stress from your life. Story 33. Have money saved for a rainy day. You will need it. Friends are few when you're short of money. I'm currently in this situation, and not even in my own country. I'm about 10,000 miles from home, with no support network here. Story 34. Deal with your insecurities and get the mental health support you need. Otherwise, you may lose the love of your life. Story 35. If it feels like a fairy tale, run. You will get burned and badly. If they leave, let them. Maintain your dignity. Story 36. Living through the hard times is what makes you who you are. You don't have to like it, but don't give up. Story 37. No one cares about you, your problems, your trauma, or anything that doesn't directly benefit them. Everyone in your life will use you when they can benefit from you, but the second you need someone, everyone disappears faster than a fleeting moment. However, if you find one person who shows you true kindness, love, and loyalty, then hold on to them and protect that relationship. Don't end up middle-aged, completely alone, and perceived as the outcast by your friends and family, because it can make you feel utterly hopeless. Story 38. I really wish I had realized I needed to put effort into developing social skills and making friends when I was in school because it's much harder as an adult. Story 39. To the students out there, do not sacrifice your health for the sake of a grade, whether physical or mental. I severely messed up my adult life by neglecting myself during my time in college and graduate school. Yes, I was in the top 10 in my undergraduate class and had a 4.0 in my master's, but in the end, I had already suffered multiple major health complications since leaving academia, even within the first few years. How often do you hear about a 25-year-old needing back surgery or stress eating enough to make himself pre-diabetic by the end? It's absolutely not worth it. I'll even go so far as to say that relentlessly pursuing your career will have a similar effect. I'm not willing to put myself through that again to say for sure, but I'd bet you're only going to ruin your life if you stick to the grind. If it's anything like how my college and post-college experience was. Story 40. A friend can become an enemy, so safeguard your secrets. Save a portion of income in something other than cash like stocks. Monitor your health. Don't overuse your body, even in sports. Most problems resolve, so don't stress too much. Work is work. It will eventually dispense with you without remorse. Story 41. This quote from Jean-Luc Picard. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Story 42. Life isn't fair. Nobody owes you anything. Complaining about things makes you unattractive. Keep your struggles inside you. Find something to help you release. Story 43. Being a protector and a provider isn't an option. It's mandatory. Until you can do somewhat of both for yourself, work on how you can expand that to a family. Story 44. Care about your money habits. You only have a finite amount you will ever earn in your life. It's up to you to squander it or turn it into a fortune through regular investing by the time you retire. Spend on the things you need and things that matter, like great experiences or on loved ones. Buy high-quality items. But be smart. Ordering takeout every night is not a good way to spend your hard-earned money. Story 45. Don't ever drink alcohol. You may not become an alcoholic or mess up and get a DUI or do something you regret, but it's not worth the risk. The downsides are too great, and even if you just end up hanging out in bars, you're still wasting so much of your life not doing something else. Story 46. Never bet or lend anything you are not ready to throw away. If you lend something, do not ask for it back. If they return it, then they can probably be trusted. If not, it's a cheap way to find out. Story 47. If your wife, fiancé, or girlfriend starts changing her behavior towards you in a negative way and refuses to communicate beyond pointing out your shortcomings or expressing resentment, don't try to fix her. You can't. Set boundaries for yourself, maybe a timeline of when enough is enough, and then act accordingly. Anything else will only wear you down and lead you to make poor decisions for yourself. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. Women tend to check out of a relationship long before they leave physically. Don't prolong the agony. It's not worth it. Story 48. Be accountable. Quit complaining about your work situation or why you're behind in life. It's not one person's fault but yours alone. Want to be better? Get better. Baby boomers, corporations, and politicians are not to blame for your shortcomings. In every generation, there is someone who is adapting and getting ahead by being accountable, adapting to hardship, making sacrifices, and finding a path forward. Story 49. People change. Don't believe that whole fairy tale where the prince comes to rescue and do everything for a woman to win her over. It's nice to try for someone, but it should be a mutual effort. When a woman likes you, you'll never have to second guess or engage in pointless chasing. Just do your work and call it a night. You don't have to be the entertainer for others. Story 50. You can give, but most people won't give back and will suddenly be too busy to help you when you're in need. Be selective about who you give your energy to. You can be giving, but don't put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of. Story 51. Think very hard before you get married. If you must get married, get a prenuptial agreement and hide at least 1 year's income. You are completely unprepared for how every institution and step is geared to protect her. The court, therapists, and guardian ad litem are all looking out for her. They are more concerned with her convenience than your existence. Story 52. Don't take yourself too seriously. Life is inherently meaningless. It's ourselves that give it meaning in the things we do and the people we love. Don't go looking for a deeper meaning or some grand realization that will make everything make sense. There isn't any. It's just us. Story 53. That no matter what I do, the chances of me becoming a millionaire and escaping the middle class are near zero. I was under the impression that the American dream was within my reach. I know better now, after owning businesses and giving my best to companies, that no matter what I do, that life is locked behind a paywall I will never breach. It is both relieving and depressing. Story 54. No one is coming to save you as a man, so get up and get yourself out of the situation you are in. Do not easily call people friends. It's good to have acquaintances, but a friend should actually mean something. Only give that title to people in your life you can truly trust to have your back, and you have theirs. Story 55. Do not be overly nice in relationships to a fault. Do not try to save the relationship at all costs. You deserve to express yourself in a relationship and show your emotions. Story 56. If you are thinking of buying a used car, find a mechanic who is willing to hoist it for you and take a look underneath. This might be some small-town advice, but in my experience, a $20 bill will get you a few minutes on a hoist and might save you a couple $1,000s later on. Story 57. Take time to know the woman who could become the mother of your children. This woman will determine the mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being of you and your children for the rest of your life. Story 58. I'm currently going through heartbreak from a breakup 2 years ago. We were in love, but I wasn't ready to move across the country for her, as I had an established life on the East Coast. A couple of things happened between then that caused me to have a huge meltdown. I suffered from depression for a good year and am now coming out the other side. But I lost her. All this to say, if you have found a good person in your life you think you might have a future with, don't let that go. Take a chance, be courageous. I was a coward, and now I'm paying for it. Story 59. Rejection is nothing. It's a numbers game. Don't fall in love with somebody you don't know well. You are likely delusional. No girl is the one. Story 60. Do not be in a room with a woman alone, especially if she's intoxicated. The number of hoops I had to go through just to dig myself out of this mess surely must have shortened my lifespan by about 10 years. Story 61. If you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else properly. Make them come first and often. Be vulnerable and express yourself when you can. Practice it regularly. Don't fall in love with the first person to touch your body. Story 62. Life is all about change. When things are going rough and life is just one pain after another, things will change. That also goes for when life is rocking and rolling and everything is great. This too will change. Story 63. You don't have friends, you just pass time, so enjoy the ride while it lasts. Don't think of it much, it's not real. Story 64. Do not be scared to say no to people. Be upfront but not rude unless the situation calls for it. Do not settle for the first person that shows interest in you. Do not spend all your money on fashion, technology, or anything that is not going to support you in the future, like a home or investments. When you break up, there is someone better out there for you. Yes, better than your ex. Cars are fun, but they are expensive and may harm someone you know before you get through your 20s. You are not invincible and life is precious, so be careful with the things you do. Remember that even if you think you won't die, you can. Eat good food as well as indulgent food because unhealthy choices every day will catch up with your body. No one cares about you as much as you think. If you are self-conscious, don't worry because no one notices you beyond a cursory glance and for less than 60 seconds. Be brave. If you want something or like someone, express it confidently but appropriately using your intuition. Be a good person. If you don't know someone, be cautious, but don't close your mind to them. When a friend needs your help, assist them, and if they don't reciprocate, they may not be a true friend. Keep your family close when possible, be there for your children, and be supportive. Know that when you tell them not to do something, they will probably do it anyway as they need to learn for themselves. I am over 50 years old now and do not feel it, but I know I'm old. These insights took me a long time to realize, and I wish I hadn't needed so long to grow up. Story 65. I think the most important realization a person makes is when they recognize and accept that society does not care about them and no one is coming to the rescue. Whether something is right or fair is completely irrelevant in the modern world. The only thing that matters is being able to plot a path through the madness, and that's on you alone. Story 66. Actions speak louder than words. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. Don't believe people when they tell you who they are. Observe them long enough, and they will show you their true selves. This is one of the most important life lessons anyone can learn. Along similar lines, you are what you do every day. You are not what you say or believe, nor are you defined by what others say, believe, or think. Everything you are is the result of what you've done, accomplished, and failed to do up to this point. You are not defined by what others did or do. You are defined by what you did and what you do. Story 67. Learn to be on your own. You don't have to revel in it, but you need to be comfortable with it. Be in a position to reject women. Learn to reject women. Be extremely picky about who you're going to love. When you are and you find the person you've been looking for, it is so easy to love them. And marriage seems obvious. None of those things should come with difficulty. If they do, you're forcing it and you're heading down a one-way street to regret. Story 68. Work hard in your 20s. Build a strong foundation for financial stability when you have more free time in your 20s. Later, responsibilities will arise, and you will have less time to pursue your goals. Please work on yourself. Story 69. You and your spouse need to match energy. This idea translates into all aspects of your relationship. What's your definition of a clean kitchen? If you think dishes are okay for a day in the sink and she needs them washed immediately, it's going to be a problem. What's your idea of an active sex life? Ignore the honeymoon phase. Can you handle it if intimacy drops to twice a year? Who initiates the most? Is it going to be a problem if she develops body issues after giving birth? Would you be okay supporting her career over your own? Would you move your family for her job? What's your stance on in-laws? My wife needs to see her sister nearly monthly, whereas I haven't even texted my sister this year. What's your position on children? Are you a timeout person? Is she in favor of spanking? What type of gift giver are you? What is your ideal bedtime? Mismatches on these mundane topics can be the source of much unhappiness. Story 70. If your parents treat you poorly, cut them off. If your wife files for divorce and you don't know why, don't question it. Just agree and move on because there is more to the story than she is telling. If your partner lies about you and things you supposedly do, get out. Story 71. I was taught that if you want something, work for it. Yes, you have to work for it, but you also have to ask for it. Story 72. 99% of all your problems can be solved with consistent effort and long-term planning. It's not going to be perfect, but eventually, you will learn how to solve your issues, or at least make them not bother you, and they'll become a routine for you. Everything seems hard until you start working on it. The other 1% will resolve itself. Story 73. No one is coming to save you. Even if you are surrounded by what you presume is pure, endless love that can vanish in a second. Appreciate it, but always operate in a manner in which that could be gone tomorrow. Story 74. In this life, if we are open to it, we can experience many incredibly awesome things. One of those is falling in love with an amazing, beautiful woman. There are other experiences just as awesome and intense. Falling in love is often just the first of these incredible moments that young men experience, so for many, that becomes all we strive for. But that kind of thinking is narrow-minded and will cause you to miss out on many of the great things life has to offer. Story 75. Let go. Let go of the expectations and projections of your parents. Live your life, not theirs. Learn to be happy with what you have, or else you will always be lost, pursuing the next best thing that promises you happiness. Story 76. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going out of their way to help you. Outside of your family, you are alone until you properly build relationships. Even then, you will probably still face challenges. Learn to be industrious and resourceful. Learn to rely on yourself and trust yourself. Be the person you want to be and do not follow others willingly. Those others will be quick to turn their backs. Your own morals will guide you. Be strong in what you believe. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. To be your own person is hard. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Rudyard Kipling, Story 77. If you have a partner whose behavior makes you feel uncomfortable in the beginning, complaining about you spending money, questioning who you are with, disapproving of your friends, or any red flag at all, leave immediately because it will only get worse. That, and don't be unkind. Story 78. Learn how to say no. You don't need any excuses. You can say it politely, but you don't owe anyone your time. Story 79. Brothers, learn about debt. I don't mean investing in things, that comes later, but learn about debt and how to control it. Debt is fine and part of how we make some of our purchases, but learn how to stay in control and not the lenders. Source. Someone who didn't know at a young age and now has mastered it. Story 80. Don't spend time and energy being the sidekick in someone else's story. Focus on being the lead in your own. Earn and invest money as early as possible in your life. The best time to start was years ago. The next best time is today. Your health in your youth is natural. Don't take it for granted. It's with you due to your age. When you get older, you'll lose it. Start working on maintaining it. Imbibe discipline in your life. Consistency will get you places where genius may not. Read nonfiction extensively. Target a book a month. Substitute active hobbies for passive entertainment. Story 81. Before you officially start knowing someone, you may build a completely warped version of them that fits with you, and that view will one day be shattered. To quote Adventure Time, what you're feeling is called infatuation. The pain is the product of you overvaluing a projected, imaginary relationship with them. Story 82. With women, everything is fine until it isn't. Just because they say they like or want something doesn't mean they always will, and they can change their minds retrospectively. Be cautious and try to find a partner who is consistent. Story 83. We change so much over the years. What you believe is your identity will not be your identity in 10 years. Let yourself grow and don't take yourself so seriously. Learn to look back at yourself and love who you were, but be thankful you grew into who you are now. Story 84. 90% of all the issues should be an internal decision to let it go and move on. Someone cuts you off, almost causes an accident, plans get canceled, there's bad weather, or someone insults you. Things happen. Just think to yourself, let it go, and move on. Try not to take things as a personal affront. Story 85. It's okay to end friendships when those friends start to become a drain on your life. In that regard, if that friend was a woman you've dated in the past, it's best to let it go immediately after the relationship ends, especially if she's the reason for it. Resentment will fester if you allow it, and if you dwell on it, not only is that your responsibility, but you'll eventually see that you've wasted a lot of time mourning someone who never existed in the first place. Who she eventually showed herself to be, she always was. People who drink of their toxicity will drag you down with them. If you've done all you can for them, and they refuse to get right, let them burn by themselves. Story 86. For many people, when you go through a divorce, your soon-to-be ex-wife may be influenced to do extreme things to get every ounce of your wealth. Her lawyer, her friends, her new lover. Her entire identity becomes scorned woman seeking her pound of flesh. I've seen my sisters behave this way. I've seen my ex-wife behave this way. I've seen couples I've known since I was a kid end up this way. And when the smoke clears, when I chat with my ex-wife or my sisters about why they acted this way, they all had the same response. I don't know. Everyone just sort of encouraged it, and I went along with it. If you're a couple and you're going to split, especially if you have children, be adults. Lock yourselves in a room and decide what's fair before you get married or when you decide to split. Then ensure all those around you, including your lawyer, don't sway you. Story 87. Learning how to stand up for yourself and having self-respect means knowing your worth. Don't be insecure, clingy, desperate, or grovel. If someone doesn't respect you the way you think you should be treated, cut them off. This applies to friends, family, partners, and work. Story 88. Learn how to walk away the moment you notice nonsense. See someone being shady in public or in a confined location. Leave immediately. If the girl you love cheated, say goodbye early. If someone is acting aggressively towards you with their hands near or in their pockets, take many steps back and start defusing the situation or prepare to defend yourself. Story 89. You can't fix her. That's not to say you can't love her, but if she's not ready to be loved in a healthy way, healed from trauma, or over the past, then nothing you can ever do will be enough to help her heal if she's holding on to old pain and anguish. I am not the type to suggest treating people as disposable, but if you're going to be with someone, be with who they are, not who you want them to be. Accept it or don't accept it, that's your call. But your love alone will not be the hero song you hope it will be. Just know that there's a very real chance she'll fight harder to hold on to that old pain than she'll fight to hold on to you, no matter how well you treat her. Story 90. Perfect solutions and situations do not exist. Don't get stuck in the rut for too long looking for a perfect solution. The time you spend in a down mode is a cost. Story 91. I'll never be harder to love than when I can't honestly love myself. I deserve all the kindness, love, and attention from myself that I'd give a partner. Story 92. The only point of life is to enjoy it. If you find yourself joyless, it's high time for a change. Give up those empty ambitions and made-up dreams you've been chasing, and see what brings you joy instead. Focus on that. Any type of financial dependence on anyone but yourself is never worth it. No matter how shiny and great, a cage is always a cage, and that type of gift never comes without strings attached, even from family. Story 93. Tell her about it. Let her know how much you care. When she can't be with you, tell her you wish you were there. Tell her about it every day. Story 94. Nothing is more important than your health. People often fantasize that they can eat poorly, drink excessively, smoke, be inactive, and still live long, happy, healthy lives until they suddenly experience a heart attack at 72 or so. Health doesn't work like that. Health problems start small. Suddenly, your knee hurts, you experience lower back pain, or you have shortness of breath. Then you get diagnosed with a condition and need medication to control it. Except those medications cause side effects, and you end up needing new medications to address those side effects. It's hard to get out of bed, you're tired all the time, you can't play with your kids, and on weekends, all you want to do is be inactive. This obviously worsens the problems you suffer from. Take care of your health early and often. Story 95. There is always something that therapy can help you with that you don't even know exists about yourself. Story 96. This is a tough question to answer because these kinds of lessons are usually only understood through personal experience. I could tell you how it felt, but the way it is understood as it pertains to you is what you're looking for, and I can't tell you that. Story 97. Always work hard and take pride in your work. It may not feel like it matters when you are at your first low-paying job, but that mindset carries over when you start down a career path you enjoy. If you get used to putting in half-hearted work, it's hard to do good work later on. Story 98. If a friend experiences a death in their family, don't shy away from bringing it up and checking in, and make sure to attend the funeral. Story 99. Women date and often have multiple options. The majority have a backup person. They find it challenging to form lasting bonds. They're enjoyable companions but might not be seen as worth committing to long-term. Story 100. Revealing your emotions isn't unmanly. Be confident in who you are and tell the people you love and care about how you feel about them. You never know when the last time you'll see someone is. You don't want to try and convince yourself your friend knew how much you cared for them after they're gone. It's easier to say that when they're still around. Story 101. Narrowing the scope to gear towards some of my gentlemen with Asperger's/autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, attention deficit disorder. But obviously, all men can take from this what they will. No matter your age, you feel a lot of emotions. Yes, there is always stigma about men having feelings. In truth, we do, but for those with intense emotions and limited vocabulary, it doesn't do justice. While you may be able to feel these, you might not be able to express them as well as others who are more emotionally articulate. There's nothing wrong with that. When it comes to relationships, you bear your own cross emotionally. It's not your partner's responsibility to aid in expressing those feelings. You will find ways to express those emotions, and the right fit will be patient, coherent, and supportive of you doing the work. If you often hear you don't feel because you don't show it, walk away. Logically, this is apparent, but most of us are alike in the process of loving and giving more than receiving. We calculate and weigh the pros and cons constantly, so give yourself grace and a third opinion retrospectively when analyzing how you feel in moments you are being perceived. Those who express another's lack of feeling can't understand the depth you have and lack the strength to put their own interests aside. Speak your mind the way it comes to you and don't hold back just because you fear their reaction or you've learned to be rejected when expressing yourself. You're human, and that's why you were given feelings inside and outside of your body. When you're emotionally expressing yourself, remember to iterate that you are speaking emotionally if it involves feelings you have noted about your partner or an objective perspective you're expressing. The way you achieve your feelings and garner understanding is by being able to express, then dissect with your partner together before making decisions. You can't control everything, as you know, so don't convince yourself you know what's best for your relationship or partner by calculation or lacking their input. Many of us have minds that are naturally controlling of our tangible environment, but people don't belong in the inanimate world. Like you, they have feelings and perpetuate perspectives you might not grasp conceptually. You don't have to be perfect or good at neurotypical small talk, but being able to expand your interests is vital to discovering ways to self-regulate and remain engaged in your relationship without risking the integrity of your efforts. Cultivate your relationship into its own routine that is more directed to shared special interests. You can integrate your own and theirs to create fun times without feeling like you have to be overwhelmed by typical dates. Obviously, change setting and activity, but have fun. That's what your partner is there for. If you don't feel like your efforts are reciprocal, then discuss that very bluntly. You don't have to settle with a routine that doesn't serve both sides of the relationship. Remind yourself you're loved, lovable, and will be loving, so you don't have to rely on your partner for love. You're loving and thoughtful within your own mechanisms. Don't deter yourself from expressing gratitude and appreciation. The more you respect yourself, the less you'll feel bored or frustrated by intimacy. Story 102. In order to reach your desired goals, you sometimes have to make changes that will make you feel uncomfortable until you find a new equilibrium. I have met many people who consistently trip over their own feet due to fixable issues, but they won't make the necessary changes because they mistake the uneasiness of stepping out of their comfort zone for giving up their core values. Story 103. Love those you care about, truly. I'm writing this sitting in a neurology waiting room for my father, who was flown into the hospital. I regret using work as an excuse or schoolwork. I regret brushing off any time he said he was not feeling well. I regret all of it. I have many regrets over petty things I never let go of. I truly love my father, and he loves me. He was always patient and wanted the best for me. His life was hard, and he internalized it. And now I'm afraid I will fly home alone without him and never have the conversation that would have magically fixed everything. All I would have had to say is sorry and been a better listener. I could write paragraphs about this, but just make sure you love those who deserve it. Don't hold on to petty things because you will regret it severely. Story 104. You will not change unless you do it for yourself. For the longest time, I would think of changing things around, but only to impress other people, whether it was women, friends, or family. It always ended up the same way. Things would change, but then quickly go back to the old normal. Now, what a couple of months of therapy and self-reflection have taught me is that I've got to do it for myself. Whether it's getting healthier, working harder, or making more money, it's got to be for myself. You can only truly change if you do it for yourself because you love yourself. Story 105. Take care of your health. We have countless problems until we get sick. Then we only have one problem. Story 106. Everyone gets punched in the face by life, not physically, but emotionally. At some point in your life, you will absolutely go through it. For me, it was joining the Navy. I went through hell and back, and thank God I survived because it was touch and go for a bit. For my baby brother, it was flunking out of college and having to live on his own. No one is immune, and it's something that will test you incredibly. You can either roll with the punches and keep fighting or hit the mat and give up. I got punched again and again, and I'm still here. You will know it when it happens, but the important thing is to keep fighting no matter what. Story 107. For my newly 18-year-olds, please take matters into your hands in every way possible. Can be for school, papers, everything. Sometimes we have to take a leap of faith to enter adulthood. Story 108. Sometimes you just have to tell your family no. Looking back at my life, I would be in a much different place had I done so. Story 109. Start praying if you haven't already, as soon and as often as you can. Don't wait until you have nothing left to pray. Throw all your hopes and dreams to the stars. Story 110. Protect yourself financially in any relationship you enter. I have seen too many people get absolutely taken advantage of in court because they thought their spouse was on the same team. Story 111. Women aren't attracted to confident people because they don't care or because they're difficult. They're attracted to confident people because such individuals don't expect or need you to react a certain way. If you care too much, it's because you're unconsciously asking women to react with sympathy or comfort, and that confines them, which doesn't feel good. You need to get to a point where you don't mind women being happy, mad, or sad with you before they will want to be with you. They want the ability to be honest about how they feel without trying to meet whatever needs you have. Story 112. There is no safety net for you. No one cares about you. You only have yourself to rely on. If you ever become successful, the people you meet afterwards are only using you. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Invest often and invest young. Lie frugally. Last but not least, only you know your true worth. Never quit, take risks, and always dream. Story 113. If you want someone to care, you have to foster a relationship with them first. Relationships take work, and they are necessary to be healthy. Story 114. If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be neat and wipe the seat, floor, or anything else that you splattered like an animal. Story 115. 3 basic words will apply as the hardest and most cruel truth you can find in life. Trust nobody. Story 116. If you can't attract a woman, it's your attitude that's the problem, not your looks. Fix your attitude and things will improve. Story 117. DNA test your children. If she has an issue with it, show her the door. It will save you the heartache of finding out one of the kids isn't yours years later. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.